Warning, incoming game over. Warning, incoming game over.
Well, that's a tough week for Oilers to go down tonight as they end their West Coast road trip with a 3-2 loss to the Anaheim Ducks. Welcome back to Game Over Edmonton on the Game Over Network. It's your boy, Avry Lewis-McDougall, here in the host chair tonight. And I'm joined by a very special guest out in London, Ontario. It's a late evening for him, but we want to have him on for a little bit here. It is a London Knights legend, a former Edmonton Oiler, New York Islander, Atlanta Thrasher, had a long career playing in Europe. He's been an analyst, a coach. It is the one, the only, Robbie Schremp. Rob, welcome to the podcast, sir. How you doing, Rob? Welcome to Game Over Edmonton tonight.
Hey, thanks for having me, buddy. It's great to be on. So looking forward to talking some hockey with you and talking some Oilers.
No, of course. Want to have you on for a bit here. You know, I've been following you on Twitter, seeing your breakdowns, your analysis. You are one of the more thorough analysts when it comes to covering the game on social media. And I guess just your impressions, Rob, of this road trip here in which Edmonton has had to really endure most of it without Leon Draisaitl and Connor McDavid. What have been your thoughts on this team trying to manage without Connor McDavid and Leon for this road trip here for most of it, Rob?
I think they played well as a team. I think it's been an opportunity for quite a few guys to step up and take a leadership role. Obviously, with those two massive holes to fill, it kind of starts with a veteran presence like Corey Perry and Arvidsson. A couple guys that stick out to me. I think Wallman too, as well as the D-man. Like there's been a few guys in my mind that have stuck up over the last few games and really stepped up and kind of carried the load. So the face of the team obviously looks different without those two. Those players are not replaceable, so to speak. They're just a matter of kind of fill that void. But I feel like it's been a pretty good stint so far, and it's something that's a positive outlook. When again the team's a couple games over 500 over the last 10 without those guys. So it's been a good stint, in my opinion.
Yeah, they've been trying to survive. You mentioned a couple of guys. You mentioned guys like Victor Arvidsson, Corey Perry. When Arvidsson's been healthy, he's been finding ways to contribute. And Corey Perry, a guy who you know very well. Corey Perry's been in the league for 20 years now, 39 years old. Even tonight against the Ducks, he gets to the net. He forces a turnover, which leads to Jake Wallman's goal. What's it been like seeing Corey Perry reinvent himself and be that guy who will take on any role and find a way to stay in the league as a guy who now has 16 goals this season for the Oilers, Rob?
Yeah, he's been really good this year. I think I got to see him a couple weeks ago, maybe about a month and a half ago in London for the 20th anniversary for the Mem Cup team. So it was good to see him and chat with him a little bit. He looks good. He looks fresh, and watching his game, it looks like he's a little bit inspired, so to speak. I think he's taking a role where he fills whatever the team needs, but in a time like now, I've really liked the way he's taken over the play. He's grinded the puck behind the goal lines. He's extended offensive zone shifts. So he's done a really good job. I mean, again, he looks re-inspired. He's been a hell of a player. So he creates that energy. Again, those extended shifts are what put the other teams under a lot of pressure, and he's always right around it. So I think it's been great. I'm sure the team really rallies around that leadership and that momentum tonight. You see him get hit by Gudas, and guys are sticking up for him, and not letting that go unnoticed. So I think that guys have rallied behind him. So he's been there, done that. I think it's it's kind of the same thing for a lot of these players. A lot of these guys throughout their career, wherever part of it was, have been the guy. So now that your two main guys are out, these guys, a lot of these players know what it's like to carry that load. So it's been good, I think. And it's fun to see that, figuring out ways to win games and without your two superstars is never easy. And Ekholm out as well is a huge hole. So there's a bunch of holes there, and they're doing a great job, sticking to the plan.
Yeah, I really had no choice. You mentioned someone like Jake Wallman. He comes to the trade deadline from San Jose, and he's fit in quite nicely on that pairing. I know you were forward, Rob, but watching him slide nicely in that pairing, it's been refreshing to see how he's jumped into Edmonton and fit immediately in that roster, Rob.
Yeah, he's been awesome. He's really steady. I find, just the way he plays the game. I can't speak for the guys on the squad, but just as player, watching the way he plays, he just gives a certain sense of stability back there, and he makes really good plays. He also makes a little bit extra out of nothing. He's got that ability to make some offense and not be a riverboat gambler, but just take a little bit more risk and find ways to get some offense going. But I think his game is really solid. I like the way he's patient with the puck. He doesn't rush. He makes the play when it's ready, not rushed. So I think there's a lot of comfortability for the team with him stepping in, and he's taken a nice position here on the squad and kind of proven himself.
Yeah, it's funny because you look at Jake Wallman, Rob, and one thing I see is that he's always with the puck. He never panics. You mentioned confidence. I don't see him panicking to make a play, be it a pass or a shot. The confidence is a big thing for this roster going to the postseason now. I really feel with the way he plays, Rob.
Yeah, it gives you a lot of depth, and as a team, it's when you watch a guy in your team make plays like that, comfortable, calm, gives a certain aura off, and when you play with a guy like that, it gives you the trust in him and the feel like there's stability there with him whenever he's on the ice. You're not scared that something bad's going to happen, or you know what I mean. It's a different emotion. So I think he's settled in really nice there. And again, game after game, he's getting better and better and building the momentum, and also kind of solidifying his role in the roster. And when he's on the ice, you sort of have this higher level standard of what's possible when he's out there.
No, of course. And this is a game, of course, unfortunately, Edmonton did lose 3-1, and they gave a first career start to Olivier Rodrigue. As a guy who's been around hockey for a very long time, you're a guy who's been around a lot of pro teams. Like, what do you tell a young goaltender? What do you tell a goalie in his first start? Like, what would you do in room to comfort a guy who's coming in on a veteran team like that, first career start in relief? What do you tell Olivier Rodrigue coming into his first game as a starter in the NHL, Rob? What would you tell him?
Go have fun and relax and enjoy the moment. It's one of those things where it's something very big in his life. It's the game is huge. We all dream of that moment and getting that first game, and whether you're a goalie, forward, D, whatever it might be, your first NHL game is always nerve-wracking. So just settle in and calm down, enjoy the moment, and the guys will play in front of you. So, I know they lost the game, but double the shot output.
Yes.
The game wasn't tilted as far as what the scoreboard said. The game was kind of down the other end, peppering the net. So he made some good saves. I liked in the beginning too. He played the puck a couple of times. There was one that was kind of a little bit, probably would have been on the borderline of maybe should have stayed in the net, but what it told me was he's confident to go out there and play his game and sort of just, react the way that he would. So I think he settled in nice, and I don't think it's something, nothing on his end. He played a pretty good, solid game, made some good saves in the beginning. But I think just relax, and obviously to your question, what would you tell him? Just relax, enjoy, play the way you play. There's obviously a reason why you're here. Don't try to be Patty Wap per se, but just play your game.
Yeah, no, exactly. And you mentioned that. Yeah, no, this game wasn't really lost on any error by Olivier Rodrigue, but it was a game you mentioned how it's going to be frustrating as a player to see a team get over 40 shots on net and only get one goal. Because some days, some games, you have to tip your hat to a better goaltender like Lucas Dostal. It has to be frustrating to see a team like this get so many quality chances, get high danger chances, and only get one goal out of 44 shots, Rob.
Yeah, I think the one that Stetcher jumped in the middle there and hit Nuge right in the hand with it. They had half the net wide open, so it's unfortunate. It's nothing Nuge could do. He just doing his job getting to the net. But there was a couple of those Bush hit. How do you say his name? What's 92's last name?
Oh, Vasily Podkolzin.
Podkolzin, sorry.
Yes.
He's beamed Podkolzin right in the knee with one. There was a few of those where the shots were just, they were high quality shots, just getting, unfortunate bounces. But there's a lot of that, and there's nothing. I don't think there's anything to read into per se. It's just maybe generate a lot of shots. They had a lot of momentum. I felt like Arvidsson, Nuge, and Pod, they played a really good game on the offensive zone. They were just extending shifts, constantly cycling, attacking the net. A lot of positive stuff. So I don't think there's much negative there. It's just some of these, it's an NHL hockey game, and anybody can win at any night.
Yeah, no, you're totally true in that. But one thing I did kind of stink was seeing, was unfortunate was seeing how this team, where when this power play is on, it's on. Because it goes back to, any team can beat anybody. The power play goes 0 for 5, and that's gonna be tough when you take advantage of Anaheim making those mistakes, the scrums in which, I mean, you had a 4-minute power play and you couldn't cash in. It's tough to see those opportunities come your way and you can't find a way to score, and you go 0 for on the man advantage tonight, Rob.
Yeah, definitely missed opportunity. 0 for 5 is a tough night for the special teams, and I'm sure the boys are frustrated with that. It's it's one of those things in this moment. This is got some guys are in positions where they won't be otherwise, right? So it's a big opportunity, and I'm sure they're not going to let that go unnoticed. But that being said, it's just a hockey game, so it's not like this, anything extra to look into. Going back to it's an NHL team. Their special teams do a lot of video, a lot of prep work. So,
yes.
It's just, and then the other thing you should break it down to, the big thing for the power play is the breakout. And when you talk about those three studs that are out, those guys carry the load, right? Like McDavid's always just buzzing through and zone entering on his own and basically carrying like 3 guys on his back when he's doing it. So it's like an easy kick out and set up. Everything changes, right? The breakout, the end zone, that kind of stuff. A good power play usually takes some time to click and get going. So now that this is like a kind of a jolt sort of thing where we're missing some huge pieces and time for guys to step up, it's an opportunity, but it's also, you gotta be patient too, because you got to find that chemistry and sort of get to your spots, so to speak.
Of course. And in this game, we see Jeff Skinner got a 16th goal of the year. It's been kind of a weird year for Jeff Skinner in which he's played up and down the lineup. He's on pace to have another 20-goal campaign. But Chris Knobloch isn't keen to play him in the top 6, where we thought when he was first signed, we all assumed he's going to be a top 6 player. He hasn't been in that role consistently. He played on the third line tonight. Just what have been your thoughts on Jeff Skinner, excelling in limited minutes or as a depth role forward this year, Rob?
I think that's where he slots in there. It's like secondary scoring, layered scoring. So he's out. He's not going to crack that. I think in the lineup, that's not his spot. Top 6. I think, third line is where he sits. Is your secondary scoring. He brings that momentum. He has that ability when he's on again, he can extend those offensive zone shifts like on his own accord, working the corners, working his speed and coming out of the corner and attacking and making plays. He's got that ability, but it's not enough to, warrant top 6 in the Edmonton Oilers. So it's good to have him, and it's a matter of just, when he's on, he gives you that third line buzz and, just about right where the numbers are at, 20-goal season and that kind of thing. That's what they don't need much more. Of course, you want to have more. You want everybody to score 30 goals, but that's not the reality. So him potting 20, Corey Perry coming in around 20. These are just little, nice cookies to have for that top tier scoring that you have. So you got your.
And of course, I know with the playoffs coming up, it's going to be tough now for the staff to make some decisions when it comes to a playoff roster. Because of course, you have Skinner, you have Evander Kane coming back eventually. Like, where do you see guys like? I mean, with the playoff roster coming in, like when you have Kane coming back healthy again now, Rob, like where do you see Evander Kane slotting in when the postseason comes around? Because there's so many guys who are going to be coming back healthy now, and then you have him as well. It's going to be a bit of a challenge to try and figure out where all these guys are going to fit in. Like someone may have to sit come game 1 against LA in a couple of weeks here.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's the way she goes. That's the roster, the moving of the roster and what we got slotted. So I think everyone, obviously, Kaner's been around for a long time. Everybody knows his game and like what he brings to the table. When he's on, when he's sharp, he comes in, and it's almost just like you slot back into what he left off last year kind of thing, that's what you hope for. So hopefully when he comes back, he's ready and he's got the lungs and he's got the ability to carry that pace of game that he usually brings in the physicality and the little scoring touch. So it's for the roster lineup, like that's there's going to be some juggling, obviously, but Kaner brings such an asset when his game's sharp. He's a huge asset, so covers a lot of territory. Be interesting to see how that shakes out, but you know how it goes. The playoffs come around, it's about that physicality and endurance and that kind of thing. He brings that element, so that's where you see maybe a Skinner comes out. I don't, again, see what kind of series they pull the first series with LA, what they're looking for. But be interesting. It's not a bad problem to have a guy like Kane come back in the lineup and have that time off to be rejuvenated.
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah, we'll see how that shakes up. I do want to ask you now, of course, the big thing that's been talked about here has been the whole factor of home ice advantage. Edmonton is still in third place in the division behind LA, behind Vegas. And for a guy who's played in the league and been around different levels of hockey, be it NHL, the European leagues, like, do you feel it's been overblown, the idea of home ice advantage? Because, I mean, yes, Edmonton has beaten the Kings 3 years in a row, but you would like to play game one in front of your fans in your building. But do you think it's overblown in your mind, Rob, the whole home ice advantage thing and how it factors in?
I think it really boils down to how you play at home.
Mm-hmm.
Some teams can't handle that pressure. Sometimes in the playoffs, it's almost a blessing to have that first game not at home. So, you can get really pressed and stressed out a little bit trying to perform and be in front of your home fans, and you feel like you don't want to let them down. And it can happen. Not to say that it would. I'm just saying it can. Like, there's always, two sides of the coin, right? Or you come out first game and you pound the team and you lead in the series and that comfortability. So whoever kind of settles in first, right? So that being said, that's your answer. How are you on the road? You got to take a look at that and see what you got to assess and what kind of problems you have, because it is how how it goes. How you play in the road and how you play at home or can be different with different squads.
Yeah, no, fair enough. A couple more for you here, Rob. I know one big thing when we announced we were going to have you on the show, a lot of Oilers fans were excited because you, for lack of a better term, you were a cult figure in Edmonton for the time you were here, from when you were drafted, from when you played, and a lot of fans here in this market felt you deserved a better shot, because when you were called up, you put up points in limited time in Edmonton. So I want to ask Rob, what does it mean to have Oilers fans still see you as a cult figure? Like, I've been to Oilers games, and I have seen Rob Schremp jerseys in the crowd at Rogers Place. I've seen people wearing your jerseys before, Rob. I've seen it. It exists.
Yeah, that's funny. No, that's great. Yeah, it's the way she goes. But yeah, it didn't shake out the way I thought it would. But I did enjoy my time there, and the fans were awesome people. I remember the one year we went as far as Yellowknife to do an autograph signing, and seeing the passion of the Oilers Nation was insane. Some of those fans were talking about coming down for single home games. They were driving 11, 12 hours from Yellowknife down. So it's a great hockey community there, and it's spread so far. So it's great to hear that. I'm glad that my jerseys are still kicking around, but yeah, that's funny.
I mean, yeah, no, they are right. I do want to ask you though, were you a fan of the pajama style? Were you a fan of the jersey? Because if you have any fan, some fans like the style of jersey, some fans didn't like those jerseys though, the one with the piping on the side. Do you like those uniforms or not? Because some didn't like them.
They didn't. They weren't a fan.
Yeah, some weren't a fan of those jerseys with the piping. Yeah, some weren't a fan of the Reebok ones. I know a few of my friends hated those. How did you feel about them?
Anytime you get to put the NHL logo on, it's a blessing. So I don't have any complaints from my end. I just, I never really put such thought into it. But yeah.
Fair enough. I got one question for you from one of our listeners, a friend of mine in the media world, Hunter Crowther. He asks you.
Let's see.
Yes, good buddy Hunter. He asks you, what was your lowest score at Forest City National?
It's a great question. 71 was my low at Forest City.
71?
Yeah.
Holy smokes. Okay, wow. That's impressive. That's impressive.
Not with the group that I was with. I was still low man. I was still the high man on the card. So tough company. But good.
Either way, I'd tell people I would lie. I'd tell people, hey, I would lie about that. Either way, Rob. Oh man, hey, you know what, Rob? I gotta thank you for coming on this segment for Game Over Edmonton. Love to have you on again sometime and chop it up one more time, dude. This was a blast, buddy.
Yeah, no problem, man. Thanks for having me. Thanks for thinking of me. Appreciate it.
Nah, of course, Rob. Thanks, buddy. All right. Cool. All right. How about that? Robbie Schremp on segment 1 of Game Over Edmonton today. Love the insight. That was a blast. And you know what? Hey, we got to also go back to our friends at Hyperdrive Hockey, because we got to get back to our ads. Even though we were excited, we got to pay some bills here at the Game Over Network. Whew, that was fun. That was a blast. And Hunter, oh man, there you go, Hunter. We got your question in on that one. Good to see a little connections there. But yes, I have come across in the wild. I've come across Robbie Schremp jerseys at Rogers Place before. They exist. So if you're one of those people who has a Robbie Schremp Oilers jersey, please hit me up because we got to get you on the show. We got to shout you out somehow. Anyways, shift into hyperdrive and get ready to have some fun with your new source for all the biggest stories in hockey, bringing a unique style of broadcasting and commentary with a Quebecois flavor. Hyperdrive Hockey combines top-tier hockey analysis, big stories, pop culture, and a fun atmosphere that'll drive debate, make you think, and more. Join Max Van Hoot, Daphne Malbouf, and Kevin Larme every Monday and Thursday for your fill of the hockey world. Watch on YouTube on the Game Over Network channel or subscribe to the podcast on Apple, Spotify, or Amazon. And head to our website at thegameovernetwork.com for more. Yeah, so hopefully, second period time, hopefully you had some fun. Hopefully you liked that bit of content. I didn't want to keep Rob up too late because it is 1 a.m. Eastern time in Ontario, and I'm going to try and keep things calm because, hey, it's a big ask to get somebody on the show that late in the evening. Either way, thank Rob for taking some time out of his evening. That was a blast to chop it up. And hey, for a kid for someone who remembers him going viral back in the day in 07, 08, 08, 09, and as someone who I wanted to see get a bigger opportunity on the big club, I know he got a bigger role in New York, in Atlanta, in Europe, but that's how things go. And I want to go back to Rob's point on Olivier Rodrigue. I thought Olivier, he had a fine night. Yes, he took the L, but there wasn't any saves in there which were hurting the team too much. His play wasn't the reason his team lost 3-1. Yes, Lucas Dostal had a great game, but also too, Edmonton in their own end, I thought, was just a little too sloppy. We saw the turnover on the Mason McTavish goal, the Kapanen turnover. Everybody in front, or most of the names in front of Olivier Rodrigue tonight, struggled in that aspect of cleaning things up. And it is what it is, again. But that's now 2 games in a row in which the Anaheim Ducks have found a way to get a win against you. A team that you should be able to beat, that you should be able to have a competitive game with. And credit to Evan Bouchard. Sorry, I mentioned, I said 1 goal, I meant 2 goals, sorry. Evan Bouchard, the second goal. I completely forgot about the Bouchard second goal, the Jeff Skinner second goal. Jeff Skinner's goal came, and Adam Henrique got the first. That is a game in which Jeff Skinner, I mentioned beforehand, he gets these roles where he's not playing top 10 minutes. He's not playing top 6 minutes, but I gotta commend him for doing what he can as a bottom 6 guy when we all know I want to see Jeff Skinner be elevated. And Rob mentioned his point where he sees Skinner thriving more as a third line guy, doesn't see room for Skinner in the top 6, but we'll see. We'll see as the playoffs go on if there is a chance for him to slot into that top 6. Maybe you need to shake up a line that's struggling, but we'll see. We will definitely see. Yeah, I said 3-1. It's like, I don't know why I blanked out on that 1 goal saying it was a 3-1 game. But yeah, Jeff Skinner, 5 goals in his past 9 games. The run for Skinner has been fun. The run has been great to see. And hey, I applaud you all for tapping in. Those of you who are staying up late to tap in the Game Over Edmonton, I applaud y'all. In a major way. Yeah, we're going to wrap things up here. We're not going to go too late. We're probably going to go into post-game content, get some post-game thoughts, see what's happening in the room with the guys. I see there is post-game content with Darnell Nurse. We'll wait for a second and try to see if there's anything from Chris Knobloch or anybody else in the room after the loss. But in the meantime, let's get to our social media because, hey, we're trying to promote Game Over Edmonton and promoting what's up next. And also, too, we're promoting our Patreon. So, looking for ways to help an upstart media company employing over 30 young journalists and analysts across Canada? If you have a few spare bucks kicking around, you can head to our Patreon page at patreon.com/the Game Over Network. There, you'll find multiple tiers featuring rewards and goodies, helping us grow. There's extra access, exclusive looks behind the scenes, Discord benefits, merchandise discounts, opportunities to give us feedback, and you can join us for special live shows where you can interact with us as we launch more ways to improve your experience. And hey, if you can't spare a few bucks, we got a few free tiers available so you can still join in on the fun and you don't miss out. So, if you want to help us out, make sure to click like and subscribe on YouTube, rate us 5 stars on your favorite podcast app, and share our work on your social media platform of choice. That's patreon.com/the Game Over Network for some tantalizing goodies, y'all. All right. Third period here as we start to wind things down on an extended show, a special show with Oilers alumni Rob Schremp. So we will head now to Darnell Nurse in the post-game content.
Darnell, your team puts up 49 shots. You guys are fighting right till the very end. Hit a post in the last few seconds there. Do you guys feel like you maybe deserved a better fate?
Yeah, I think, we had lots of opportunities to put the puck in the back of the net. We didn't find a way to do it, and that's part of the game. We got to find a way to capitalize on the chances that we have, and we didn't do that enough tonight.
What is it about this Anaheim Ducks squad that seems to give you guys a challenge?
No, it's the NHL. Every team's good, so they got a lot of skill, and they play hard.
The good thing, not the good thing, one of the things about having some of your stars out of the lineup is everyone's getting a lot of chances, everyone's getting a lot of touches, but the other thing is you still miss their goal scoring. Mm-hmm. Like a lot of guys getting the touches don't score at the frequency that McDavid and Draisaitl score at. Is that a fair assessment of your team? Good effort, but not enough finish.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard slack to pick up, those two guys that are usually leading the goal scoring race in the league, so or points race in the league. So yeah, I mean, there's lots of opportunity. I think tonight you generate the amount of chances that we generate. I think on most nights guys are finding ways to put a few more in, but yeah, with us we were definitely missing that finish tonight.
What about Radko Gudas starting all that stuff tonight, and what effect did that have in the game, did you think?
Yeah, I don't know. I thought guys dug in and tried to get physical, and yeah, that's this game. Sometimes things happen out there. People can choose to answer or not, and I thought our response was pretty good.
What did you think of Avry Rodriguez?
He was great. He made some huge saves, especially down the stretch to keep us in that game, and he was real solid for us back there.
All right, there's Darnell Nurse after the 3-1 game. And again, great to see the positive vibes towards Olivier Rodrigue. And again, like Rob said, the NHL, anybody can be anybody. That's how it goes some days, even though you get over 40 shots on a goaltender. And also we got, we'll jump to Chris Knobloch.
Chris, you guys had 49 shots, fight right to the very end, hit a post, which is in the dying seconds here. Do you guys feel like you maybe deserved a better fate here today?
I thought we played a pretty good game. Some mistakes to give them their goals off the rush. But overall, the effort from the guys just couldn't, for the amount of opportunities we had, the amount of chances, certainly deserved to have more than 2 goals. 5-on-5 offensive play, I thought was really strong.
Did you feel the limitations of your bench going 11-6, especially in the later stages of this one?
Sometimes it's easier for the players, shorthanded, to play more, and they're in the game a lot more. certainly there's certain situations where we could have had another guy on the bench for whether it was a face-off or, tonight on the penalty kill, often a penalty killer was in the box, so we had to go with 5 there. But, it's nice having the 12, but, I thought everyone stepped up and played really well up front.
I know you're missing a lot of key bodies. Did it feel out of sync, especially on the power play with 6 opportunities?
Well, like I said, I thought 5-on-5 we did about as much as we could have done. It's creating chances, a lot of quality chances there. But and the power play wasn't as sharp as it usually is. And obviously when you're taking the guys out that are usually controlling that power play, it's going to make a big difference.
How about these Anaheim Ducks? I mean, they won 3 or 4 against you guys this year. What is it about the style that they play that seems to give you guys a little bit more of a challenge?
I don't know. I think they've got a good team. They've and also good goaltending. They've got solid goaltending all season, and anytime that happens, you've got a chance every night.
What do you think of Olivier Rodrigue?
That's good, especially in the first period. He didn't have much, quality chances in the second and third, but definitely in the first there were some chances that we needed him, and he stepped up. We're very happy with his game tonight.
And how do you assess this overall road trip going 2-2?
If we're 3-1 after a road trip like that, we're very happy. 2-2 after starting 2-0, we're disappointed. But tonight's game. I feel like it was one that we probably should have won. There's games, obviously, that we win that we should have lost, but tonight the effort was there, and, I thought we deserved a better fate.
That's Oilers head coach Chris Knobloch after the win. It's after the loss. Sorry, why did I say the win? Oops, sorry, gang. Oh, sorry, gang. Apologies. We're just knocking things all over the place. We're trying to get back to our scheduled plans, and I'm seeing the chat right now. We got some comments from the usuals. I see we got the Anaheim calling team here. The Anaheim calling team tapping in. Chad and Stephen, and Chad and Stephen hopping in from Anaheim calling. We'll get them on. We'd get them back on the Game Over Network. We'd get those guys on, Chad and Steven back on. Oh, man. Stefan and Chad are funny. They are very funny guys who run the Anaheim Calling site. Formerly of SB Nation, but now all those SB Nation sites now run independently. So, yeah, we'll get Stefan on the show or Chad on to talk about Anaheim Ducks, maybe an off-season show. So, we'll see. We will definitely see about that. Oh, sorry, we're in the third period. Oh, good. There we go. Third period. But we do have to give a shout out to our social media platforms here on Game Over Edmonton. If you're enjoying the show, you want some more of this, right? Well, make sure you hit the like button on this video, click subscribe on our channel, and make sure you hit the notification bell so you are notified when we go live next. And hey, if you're tapping into our podcast, please give us a 5-star rating or a positive review. And hey, if you really like us, make sure to follow us on your favorite social media platforms. You can find the Game Over Network on Blue Sky at thegameovernetwork.com, on TikTok and Twitter at GameOverNHL, on Instagram, Threads, and LinkedIn at Game Over Network. And hey, you can tap into my work on Twitter at Avry at AVRY, on Instagram at Avry Sports. And hey, you can find us on the GameOverNetwork.com, where you can sign up for our upcoming newsletter, which will have some content, future plans. You'll want to stay tuned for that. Oh, you absolutely will, y'all. So, sorry. Yeah. So we'll tap in just a few more topics before we go to overtime, and I do want to say that this is a game in which it felt like the officials, and maybe you can agree, disagree, the officials in this game lost control of what happened, because we saw the elbow from Gudis to Corey Perry. And then you saw Gudis do other things, and it felt like the officials just lost control of this game midway through the second period. We saw the Ryan Strome penalties. It just felt like the officials once again couldn't control Edmonton or Anaheim. And when that happens, players, again, we heard Louis DeBrusque say it on the broadcast, players will take things into their own hands. This is when players feel they got to take the justice into their own hands because the officials are not doing their jobs in different aspects. At the same time, though, this is a game in which Edmonton needs the 2 points in the division title race. But like Rob said, it really matters about how's your team play on the road, and that's more of a factor. But either way, it will be nice to see Edmonton close the gap on the Kings and on the Golden Knights, and now they have a chance to do it again coming up on Wednesday night when the Oilers take on the St. Louis Blues. And that Blues team, I've said it before on this show and on different podcasts, that St. Louis Blues team, do not sleep on what they're doing in that Western Conference, in that Central Division. That's a team in which I do think the Blues have a shot at possibly knocking somebody off in that first round. So here's a great test for you for the Oilers coming up on Wednesday night. So we will definitely see how that game goes against on Wednesday night as Edmonton faces only teams in Western Conference now going forward for their final few games. I know they are playing San Jose again. That should be a game in which you can find a way to take 2 points. The Oilers do Winnipeg as well. They got game against Winnipeg coming up, and the Winnipeg Jets, a team that Edmonton has had a tough time with as of late. So another big test playing Winnipeg to end the season. And then mid-April, it gets going again. Postseason hockey, playoff hockey. Can you feel it in the air? It's going to be in the air tonight. Oh, yes, it will be fun to see and to enjoy and to giant and just to digest for all. No matter who it is, it's going to be fun. It's going to be a blast. So we'll definitely see what happens there in that aspect because, man, Edmonton, LA, for the 4th year in a row, these two markets, these two cities know each other so doggone well. They do. And you know what else you should know very well? You should get to know Game Over merchandise very well. Yes, you should, because what better way to show you love something than by wearing it as clothing? Yes, look at that. You can get a nice hoodie, a jacket, a toque. It's all in the Game Over store. Game Over's apparel line has dropped with 3 unique designs. Whether you want to feel the nostalgic pull of our retro skater design, want to make a statement with our established design, want to wear your love for goalies proudly with our live and die by the goalie design, or if you just need another coffee and a toque to get you through the winter, we got you covered. Designed by Brady Chalice of Game Over Winnipeg. Use the QR code on stream now and take a look through our apparel store and help us rebuild local sports media in Canada while repping your community. There you go. And so we'll briefly jump into overtime. We'll jump in quickly as we're going to wrap things up here because, hey, it's late. It's almost midnight in Edmonton. This is going to be a 2-night show. So we'll jump into our YouTube here, like I mentioned. There was a couple of comments from Edmonton and Anaheim as well. The visitors had a few things to say. There was a couple of comments on the show tonight, so that's always fun. That is fun. Janias, the usual, asked on his question, are the Oilers just dry McDavid and Pick's team? Why need anybody else? No one can finish. It's tough when, again, I don't think this team is a 2-person team. We've seen contributions from Hyman, Skinner, so I think this isn't a 2-man team. It's just the consistency of the finishers has to be better because the talent is there. Tonight, Henrique scored. Skinner scored. It's just a matter of finding that consistency so you can be more than what people might think is a 2 or 3 man team. Because Jeff Skinner has 5 goals in his past 9 games. If Jeff Skinner gets hot in the postseason, watch out. Watch out. That is a scary situation. And then, again, you have guys returning from injury. You're going to have Ekholm coming back. You're going to have Trent Frederick. Trent Frederick is going to come back, even though he got hurt again. But, man, Trent Frederick, seeing him get hurt on his first shift as an Oiler, a 6-second shift, tweak something, comes back and plays later on, but Frederick is out for more games again, and that hurts. But if he's back in the postseason, and if he can find a way to be that gritty forward in Edmonton's top 9, you should be in good shape with support guys for Connor and Draisaitl. And so we'll definitely see. And Chad Cribbs from Anaheim calling, quack, quack, quack. Yeah, Chad. And Alex with a duck suck comment. Oh, man. Fun stuff. Anyways, we are out. That's all. That's all. Thank you for tapping into Game Over Edmonton tonight. And thank you to Robbie Schremp for hopping on with me tonight for Oilers chat, a post-game chat, some analysis, and some reminiscing about being an Oiler. That was fun. That was great. Anyways, the next show is on Wednesday night after the Oilers take on the St. Louis Blues. I'll be at that game, so I will not be on air, but you will know shortly who will be hosting that post-game show. Anyways, I'm Avry. Like always, thank you for tapping in. I'm out. Later.